Now, let's hop into our first series of the day. It's Team Queso versus Noble. You already heard me and Jacob talk a bit about Noble in the pre-show, but let's talk a little bit about Team Queso. And one player that I want to highlight coming into this one, because I've been looking at him ever since he entered the league last split, and that's going to be Cellz. This man right here is the X factor for this squad. And when you look at his numbers, Jacob, what do they tell you?
I mean, it shows he's kind of an all-around balanced player for the team. He's not over-aggressive in his plus-minus. He does have almost 10 assists. He has 29% of the team's kills. That's going to be 8th in the league. So he's making sure he's keeping his team's pressure that he's able to apply on these other teams. And if you guys look at when his team's back up against the wall, they really do look at this guy to make a play. And even if they don't look at this guy, I know we look at this guy to make a play for the team. And that's something I feel like he's going to continue to do throughout the day.
Yo, man, you know, you looking at it, 28th, almost 30% of his team kills to be 8th in the league of that type of production for his squad. That's big because we got a lot of big hitters out there, Jacob, okay? It's a lot of them. So Cellz, him and his squad, they have been getting better. And we seen that yesterday in their matchup, taking maps against people. But here we go. Let's take a look at the picks and bans for this series to see what are they going to be playing Noble on. So with Noble, Team Queso, Ban and Vascar do not want to touch Noble there. On the flip end, Noble do not want to deal with that aggression from Queso and Exhibit. Noble's picking training grounds, Queso, Harbor, and last but not least, Noble said, you know what? We got to toss up between Asylum and Foundation. Let's go the Foundation, the bread and butter of the maps over these last 4 years. So TG, Harbor, Foundation, Jacob, what you like about this and what you don't?
I mean, it depends on which team you're asking me to kind of side for in this one. I think Noble picking training grounds kind of surprises me. I do think Team Queso has been working better together as a team. They've been pulling to get together. That's kind of why I voted for them yesterday. Unless that big weapon plays down, I'll be scratching my head figuring out why Noble wanted to pick this map. I think unless that big weapon goes down, there's a lot of teamwork aspects, a lot of rotations that need to be made. I'm not sure they're ready for that in this stage in the game. I almost would rather have seen them pick Exhibit, but their confidence is another story. Harbor is one of those maps where it's like, okay, maybe they could put it together. There's a lot of aggression both on Stern and Winch, so those fights can be won by almost a singular player for Noble that allows the rest of the team to get up. Foundation is what really scares me. If this goes a map number 3, I think Team Queso, it has the potential to really shut this one down.
You know what? Honestly, after seeing this cycle, I want to change my prediction. I feel like
I feel like
we need to change our prediction. Seeing the cycle, we might have to have them come in live, but I don't want to make that too crazy on production.
I'm okay with it. I don't know how everybody else feels.
Our lives.
I'm okay with it as long as I get one on the back end. I'm not changing mine today, but I want a free one on the back end to just change it live. We should make a rule as long as you're live on the show.
Well, Jacob, okay. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
So I'll start with mine, give you that time to change. I think Noble, I think they're going through a little bit of a regrowth period. It's something that they're going to have to relearn, the little intricacies. And I think that's also a little bit of a silver lining considering how things have been going. But because of that and the way Team Queso has been playing lately, they've been building on what they've had last season. They've been building forward match after match. So I'm going to have to go with 2 in a row, last night and today. Team Cheese has my vote all the way.
Okay. Team Cheese got the right smell for you. So when it comes down to me,
I'm just saying.
Hey, I hope it was some good pizza. We'll talk about toppings later because we got to talk about food on Gears Pro League at all times. But I am actually going to go with Team Queso as well. Seeing that, I'll be honest with you, chat. I had Noble down first. I really did. But seeing that training grounds pick, I think they're sleeping on Team Queso for TG and having a roll into Harbor and then Foundation. I got to go with Queso as well. I think this team has been improving. I think Noble has been on a decline. I don't think today's their week, and they may be looking for another split before they step it up. Maybe they need some major action to get to the major. Maybe that'll help them turn up and they can pick up where they left off on the midseason split. But for chat, who did you guys vote for coming in? Do you agree? Are you on a different wavelength? Noble? Team Queso? What is it going to be? Drop it. And it's unanimous for Team Queso. Now, I know at this point, Colin's back there like, ain't this some crap, man? Why the hell y'all all going with Queso? Now we're all going to lose the pick. Well, hey, if we all lose, we lose together. And if that does work out, I think Noble would be happy because they could definitely use a win here soon. So going to map number 1 is going to be Training Grounds. Now, as I said before, I think Team Queso is super talented on this map. But if you look at the history of Noble and how they revolutionized Training Grounds, even with the weapon placement, the strategies, the team fire, the rotations, they are very good at that map. If it's not their best, but with them being on a decline, I don't know, man. How do you feel about Training Grounds in these two teams, Jacob?
Like I said before, I think Team Queso has it overall when it comes to the teamwork, when it comes to the aggression. I think the hope right now and the play that should be in the minds of Noble is putting that big weapon down, forcing those smoke flashes fight that kind of rely on the initial, that kind of, you could put it on the shoulders of maybe one initial player. But Morty, he has some big shoes to fill. And honestly, I knew when we saw him kind of depart quarantine, this wasn't going to be the last time we seen Morty. So this is going to be an opportunity for not only him, but the entire Noble roster to start fresh, to rebirth themselves like a phoenix.
All right, here we go. Mortifys in a building here for Noble. I couldn't think of a better player to go with this team comp. And off the start, Noble did not go for the traditional overload towards Overlook. They decided to send most of their numbers down low to push towards their opponent's spawn and take control of the bottom portion of the map. So far, so good. They're going to double back and make sure they can cap up the B hill. Now on flipping in the map, you see the boys of Team Queso. They do have Overlook, and they do have an extra play over here. So currently a 2v2 fight on this side of the map and a 2v2 on the opposite. You see Noble disengaging. They like they set up right now. And they got a guy in God spot.
Yep. It's definitely very important right now for Noble that they have this setup, that they need to spot out these members, get that pre-fire out, because the pre-fire is so important. You're going to make that opponent kind of either second guess their push or push in to kind of have to be on the same page with their teammates, to bait and switch, to trade out, to make sure they get the right damage on. But you see Team Queso putting that damage from above. Yachty gets caught slipping by Mortifys. That's going to be bonus, because now the players of Team Queso have to guess, is Morty going to overextend towards the backside? Do we backtrack? Do we keep going forward? Morty's going to be able to get the decap on this hill while keeping the enemy team guessing.
All right, so Morty, decap out, flash, trying to isolate the 1v1, does not do it, but they will clean up the kill, back up. Their opponent gets their home hill, but folks, look at the setup here of Noble. They hit a beautiful initial to start. Morty worked hard to get that Overlook control and decap his opponent's home hill, and they've built an 80-point lead, and it's just growing. So they know to just disengage here. They don't need to take the fight at Overlook. They just need to stay alive, protect the home hill, because their teammates aren't even being contested on the other end of the map just yet. Team Queso, they're gonna have to come up with a perfect play right now.
Yeah, Gearries needs to be careful here not to die in this situation, especially since we both agree they don't need this hill. But he's doing a good job of staying there, getting that big elimination onto Cellz, and now he can keep Scavzy busy. There's only a few seconds left. You're going to see it even getting cut in half. 10 seconds. Scavzy needs to be the hero. Teammates on the other side of the map, they're able to get the decap, but Scavzy can't make it happen on this neutral hill. So Noble is going to shock both of us and the chat. They're going to start off hot, win the first round here in this series, and I like the way they did it. They got the early lead on that initial, and they held both sides of the map. And Morty, the new player to the game, won that 1v1 exchange and even bolstered their lead.
Oh, man. Great plays here from Noble all around. They did a good job locking in that B hill. Their opponent was never able to get that back throughout the entirety of that round. So good job to them. Weapon placement's going down. We got Botox in the building for both sides. We'll see if that changes up the initial here from Noble. They did pretty much a 3-1 down low to kick this one off. And Team Queso was not ready for it. So pay attention to the mini-map and the players who are checking the numbers, who are counting. It's player 3 for Team Queso. He's like, all right, guys, I got a mark. We got multiple people over here. Let's take our 3v3 fight.
Yep. I like the way Queso playing into their good side, but they catch Noble slipping. Morty goes down. A great revive, quickly wasted no time. Nothing getting slipped through, but Xysho making that rotation. He did get spotted out as well, so everybody kind of playing that man-to-man defense. Nobody's slipping through, so it's going to come down to really a skill and how you play these matches. Great reaction shot to catch out Scavzy. Pell goes down to lava. There's a bit of chain revives coming through, but they're not able to save his life in the end. Yachty goes down as well, so 3 players off of this initial eliminated once more for Noble. So I talked about this being a MOBA, a little bit of a silver lining for them to be rebuilding, and that's exactly what they're doing here.
Hey, Noble looked great in these first 2 rounds. Even better there in the second. Winning their team fight, up top, down low, being able to pick up those kills. More importantly, that 1v1 fight down low and middle came in so clutch for that flank. So good job to Noble there so far. Now we are going to see those Botox get upgraded to retros. We'll see if Noble wants to switch their strategy again and run the 2-2 with their right hand advantage, because it seems like that's what they're playing towards off the first 2 rounds.
Yep.
We'll see if it's a pattern towards that. Also, we'll see if Team Queso wants to challenge them, or they feel just that comfortable in their overlook strategy. We got mirror matchups for both these squads. Retro Lancers will not be picked up off the start. Kicking this one off with Gearries. Right-hand advantage up top. Overlook. Flash in hand. Got 2 players in front. Dodges the first. Connects with the second. Has a Lancer fire coming from across, but he still has to dodge bullets from Pale. But Scavzy, Cellz, they're trapped. The melee comes through. The team kill is there. Bad timing there from Scavzy. He could not recover. Yachty, what can you do? You're a sitting duck here.
Not being fired off. Yachty figures out how to make it work. Gets the trade with Gearries. And this is a little bit of a 2v2, and Lava was the difference maker over the top side. He was keeping those players weak and got that initial down, which kind of led to that player and team kill happening through the melee. So once again, Blaze, for the 3rd straight round, Noble has been able to take over on this initial. So I got to ask you, what does Team Queso have to do here to really pull it back? 3 consecutive rounds going down.
Team Queso needs to take the first shot. They need to make the first play, capitalize off their right-hand advantage the same way that Noble is currently doing. They're being very reactive, but they need to play like they have a better record than Noble, which they do. So we start to see some kills come through from Team Queso and an overextension towards the home hill. Morty, you're out of here. Now, on the flipping end of the map, you're going to be having Noble overextending and decap their opponent's home hill. So they're going to keep 2 hills to their name. And it depends on how Lava and Gearries can stay alive on this side of the map. We see Lava rotating. Gearries is going to check up and pinch the guy at Overlook, at you, but he needs to be careful because this player is coming off the respawn, and Gearries finds a way to stay alive, backtrack, help his teammates out. Scavzy, what can you do in this situation? You got to lock it down. Got to regroup with your teammates. And at this point, Team Queso, they need another perfect play.
Yeah. I like what Noble did there to regain the 2 hill control. They kind of traded, went 1 for 1 with the home hills, but instead of trying to overextend and put in too much, they allowed their players to go off of respawn, while the players that overextended the home hill, they gave it up for free. They backtracked for this neutral hill setup, knowing that Team Queso, they couldn't stay onto the home hill. So now Team Queso has to be in 2 places at once, and you already see Yachty and Scavzy. You guys have to go. There's no more time to waste.
Oh, the Lancer fire comes through. It's like trying to run through a brick wall, and this is the Noble that you love to see here as Morty steps up, collects zone 2. He's going to overextend the cross, but not before. He does a little victory toss right there. 3-0 here. The team, but Noble to come out on top, man. And now I'm looking crazy to change my prediction, but I'm going to be honest with you. The way that they've been playing lately and the way that Team Queso been playing, I wasn't confident in this Noble squad, but you know, with us being pretty much about halfway through the Pro League, now is the time for them to turn up and find themselves maybe a new identity taken to the major.
I definitely agree with that one. You can kind of see Noble with their weapon placements. They're sticking to their plain strategy that they have set out from. They know they're winning these initials by far. They went ahead up top. They went 2-2 down low with Xysho playing the flex, so they don't have to change up too much on their end. It's Team Queso who have to make the adjustments and prove to Noble that their strat is worth changing.
Yachty's going to go up top, take his right hand. Cellz got 1 mark. Flash comes through. Yachty feels like he has the upper hand, but he can't dodge the shots from across. Gearries playing super aggressive, but with him going down, the shot grenade in play, Yachty finds a way to get around, but cannot get the second down there. And at this point, Cellz, he's in a difficult spot that he cannot get out of. Once again, Scavzy left down low by himself. In a 1v3 situation, he's out of there. It's going to be Noble with control of Overlook in home hill.
Yeah, I like the way Noble is really taking that fight up top. They know Lava's lancing over the top side, and they're not scared. You saw Gearries get flashed twice on that initial, and they still didn't back down from Team Queso because they trust in that support fire over the top. So I think it's going to be Team Queso that has to change up that fight on that initial, figure out a way to fight down low, whether you're putting a big weapon or just make Noble fight you down low. I think that is going to be the key, because right now, that same initial 4 straight times has been won by Noble. You see, they have that double home setup. And you see they're just racking up the time right now. They're not making too many major adjustments, but they're getting the pre-fire down. I don't know how this revive is going to come through on Pell without danger of somebody else going down as well.
And this is their side of the map. This is Noble's side of the map that their opponents are overextended on. So they know that no help is coming from the respawn. We got a head count on your other remaining members. So we're just going to collect on time. And Xysho is doing a fantastic job. Top Overlook, tagging these players, peppering them up, helping his teammates in all their individual fights. But they win that one. Now it's up to Gearries in a 1v2 to hold the home hill if he can. But that's a difficult fight. A down did come through for Noble, but they will not be able to hold it just yet. The decap is there, but once again, Noble has the 2-to-1 hill setup, and their rotation this round has so far been flawless, if you ask me.
Yeah, they're just looking like just a well-oiled machine. It doesn't matter if that player is kind of sticking by himself like lava. They figure out a way to move as a cohesive unit, and it's working well for them. Once again, the 4th straight round, they got themselves a massive lead. They're forcing Team Queso to make a plays, but Team Queso, they're in a better position now that they've been in the 3 rounds prior. They're going for a decap onto the home hill, but you still need to watch out for that 1v1 down low for lava. They're going to get the decap, so this round's going to go a bit longer. They're not going to win off a triple cap domination, and you see another player trying to overextend for Noble. Triple cap domination going out. Now it's your turn, Xysho. Great crosses coming through from Team Queso. And finally, it might have took them 4 rounds, but they are on the board.
Yeah, that was the round in which they needed, and they did a fantastic job turning up on their opponent's home hill, being aggressive, playing off the damage in which they put out early, and most importantly, having confidence in their teammate. So let's see if they can do that again. Shocks are on the map. Mid is being hovered, but that's just going to be an adjustment on that one soon. Secondaries are going to be focused. And I don't blame Team Queso for not putting down anything center line just yet. Even though they lost the previous 3 rounds, one thing about Gears of War, you have to be gathering intel round by round of what your opponent initial is. Where's the front spawn going? Are they picking up util? And then make adjustments around that. Yeah. Team Queso, they've been gathering information from 4 rounds. And if you put a center line power weapon down now, you could just throw the rest away, all that intel that you've gathered up until this point. Now, top Overlook, Gearries is going to get it for free, but he does have players on this side of the map. Yachty is over here at you being bait. Dodges the shock, but doesn't get enough firepower from his 2 teammates in the back. And now Noble has Overlook control. They will have the E-Hill soon, but player 4 on a flank needs to do something miraculous and being able to pull 2 players back towards him, because it's not looking good for his teammates on the other end.
They have to be attacking simultaneously, though, or this is kind of all for nothing. They did a good job on the initial, even though that player did die, but they got the 2 hills and the decap on the points. But right now, you allowed for them to 2v1 your other teammate. You allowed them to survive the 2v2 scenario, and exactly like you said, set up and capture the hill. Now you're pushing forward. Morty goes down. It's a bit of a team down, though, as Gearries Lancers a little bit too much. You have a 3v2, a 4th person rotating over. You got to attack this and not allow Morty to get back into this fight.
Yeah, Pale did a fantastic job distracting 2. His teammates needed to push at the same time, but now they fight an even team fight that they will come out on top of, winning in the 3v3 battle. But player 8, he disengaged, ran towards his opponent's home hill. Xysho trying to work smarter, not harder, puts himself in a position for the home hill setup. Also, his teammate has already rotated to him, but they need a decap and a capture as soon as possible to maximize on this one. Nice revive, nice up A. Both players going down. Home hill back in favor of Queso. They have the neutral, but Noble, they know their teammates worked hard on the other home hill, so they're trying to take Cellz out now. The Cellz doing a fantastic job holding the right. Connects with the... Ooh, what a brick over the top on the blind fire. The shock is there, lava's down. And Queso with the cheese. They are looking really smooth right now, like Velveeta.
Dude, that was smooth. That shot. That is how you play a 1v2. You don't have to be fancy at all times in the game, and that was picture perfect. Why? Nice back A from Xysho, though, as Noble. They're fighting from behind in this round, even though they do have a lead overall. Cellz with a flank, able to get 1, and now they get a 2v1 to take out Xysho as well, as Team Queso slowly but surely climbing back into this one as they're looking to get their 2nd round in the books. But Noble, they have about 20 seconds left to come back here, make it 38 as They did get the decap onto the neutral. They're going to try to get the capture as well, but Lava goes down. He takes a little bit of a 1v1, ill-advised against Yachty, but hopefully the rest of Noble can begin to pressure up, get that presence over the top, and begin to get these eliminations, because the longer they take, the less chance they get for completing this round.
Team Queso, can you cut the deficit by one more round, or will you allow your opponent to get to match point? I think they cut the deficit. No one's close to the home hill. They did a fantastic job locking down Overlook and E to close that round out. Team Queso are starting to heat up here. Call them Pepperjack. Okay, that was the last one. I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe one more match.
I can't make too many cheese. I'm gonna rely on you to name all the cheese.
I promise you, I'm gonna do it all day.
I guess I know cheddar cheese, maybe Swiss cheese,
Monterey Jack, pepper, cheddar, Gouda, provolone, American craft.
Let's save a little bit. Let's save a little bit though, because if they're gonna come back,
I'm just.
Why
don't you craft in your fridge? Come on, go get a grater,
is that like the fake cheese or something? Like I said, I don't know much about cheese. Maybe that's why I don't like cheese. Maybe I had Kraft.
I think Kraft is like small blankets or something like. I don't know. If you get enough packs of them, it might keep you warm in the winter. But let's see. Can Team Queso stay hot here? Because so far these last 2 rounds they've been looking good.
Oh, look at the bottom though. Pel's already overextending.
Yeah, he did. He got there. He put himself in a 1v1 position against Lava, one of his old teammates there. Both these players were under the United banner at one point of their careers, but know each other very, very well.
Team flash over the top to secure that positioning for Pel. I like when Lava's not giving up though. He's not going to allow this capture to come easy, make Pel fight for it, and he's going to put some damage on, but Pel is going to be able to escape. Lava has to capture this hill though. He has no other choice to try to regain some sort of points to keep it even here.
Now, Team Queso still locking down the Overlook. I love Lava's rotation. Even Pale's disengage off the right hand and knowing not to die in that position. By him just being on this side of the map, he applies pressure to Noble and the entire squad because they're fighting for the map control. Pale still trying to win his 1v1, keeping that home hill decat. He is doing it all for his team now, as they're doing a fantastic job at the Overlook, just staying alive. It wasn't able to cap E, but look at the score. Team Queso's been in the lead because Pale has been so annoying throughout this entire round.
Those are big kills as well. Cellz, he died, but he got 1 elimination. He wasted the other player's time. They got the decap on E, but they need to be careful. Don't back out too soon. That player did get eliminated. You're going to go ahead and go into your death here. You need to get this kill on the Gearries. That's going to be a big stop right here, because now players going to respawn. The deaths are going to be staggered. Now, Blaze, now is when you attack that neutral, because you're going to have 2 players spawning up. You're going to have the angle over the top. You maybe back out one of these players from the home hill of Noble, and you go and extend it in towards east. That way you have a 3v2 and you have the easier hills to hold. But it does look like they're going to have a 2v2 going down. Cellz gets taken out. 1v1 on one side of the map and a 2v2 on the other.
Man, Pale has not died throughout the entirety of this round. Has that home hill on lockdown. Xysho, can you win your fight? Because Pale's going off on the other end. But Yachty knows he needs to stay alive because his teammates have the win condition, and he just needs to keep Xysho occupied. Don't give him no confidence. Don't give him no victories, because so far, Team Queso are on board to tie this one up. And I must say, a big reason for Pale being able to hold down that side of the map has to be because of his Astros, all right? Just being able to hear the sound of the players coming out of spawn and to be able to set up properly, get that initial Lancer fire and that damage, it's perfect.
Yep, you're able to honestly look one way at a couple of targets and you hear the information on the other side of the map, but a great stop coming out from Team Queso, and we got a tie game, folks. I said these matches could go either way, and we got 3 straight rounds from both of these teams.
You did say that. We got a series on our hand, folks. It looked like Noble was going to be in a position to get to map point really early on here, close this one out, get over towards Harbor. But Queso, man, they just said, hey, Blaze, we just needed some time to melt, some time to gel, get together, get on our flow. And so far, man, they are looking fantastic. We got retros built up on the bottom side of the map, but we know it is time for incinerator grenades to come down and heat this map up. But maybe that's on the next round. Actually, I missed the first placement. Both squads, they have the retro in. I don't think that's a bad weapon placement because Think about how you can hold the spawn side, hold both of your opponents' home heals in the second half with those retro lancers. It's almost more important to have the 60. And I think Pale may even play to pick up his opponent's retro off the start. But you see a 2-2 strategy coming out for Noble once again on this side of the map. This was the same strategy in which they won round number 1 off of. But Queso, they were ready for it. They're going to get some free shots here on Mortifys and Geary. They took a bad route, but with this cover here, Morty should be able to get away, but doesn't save his teammate and almost lost his life in the process. Queso, they're feeling good right now, and they're about to apply the pressure.
That was almost a brilliant situation for Scavzy because they needed those downs, because now that makes it so much harder for Noble to hold the other side of the map. So when these players come off of respawn plays, they're going to have to deal with Scavzy, and Scavzy's immediately going to run. They're going to try to 4v2 these members, get their home heal back, and then rotate back to that neutral. But they need to take these members out quickly. One is going to fall in lava. Xysho goes for the revive, gets the kill on the Pell, but goes down himself. And now you see the rotation coming back from the neutral. They need to take out Gearries as well. Keep the flow of the deaths being staggered on the side of Noble. We also need to know when it's taking too long, when to give it up. But Cellz, knowing that moment hasn't come just yet. Gearries gets taken out, and Team Queso setting up for 2 hills. And one thing I wanted to point out about the 60-second retros, they went ahead and did that as well, Blaze. Another reason you didn't mention was now they're not forced to put that weapon center line, because now they get the option for instant upgrades and a lock on the other team. So now the options are endless, because if they don't want to put a lock, they can put a big weapon down if they so please.
I got to go back a few moments and give a lot of praise to Team Queso. I don't know if it was Scavzy, Cellz with the call out, maybe Yachty, but Scavzy's aggression was so perfect because he knew he had a 1v1 on a player that was weak, but he also knew 2 players overextended on his side of the map, and he had one on respawn. So his best fight, his best play was to be on his opponent's side of the map, flip it, keep him uncomfortable. Team Queso, they had the anchor at Overlook, and they still got that anchor at Overlook, and we're seeing the strength of it. The revive did not come through up top. That player's gonna have to take his life, but we did see the shock stop assault here from Noble. They rotate, they're gonna get the right hand, but they may get these kills. Nice flank from Gearries. Could be an even better flash from Pale, but he needs to turn this into something. Buying his team time, he finally goes down. Player 3, top of the U, gets 1. For how long? Beautiful job dodging shots. Right and left, getting his health regen back in the mix. Sail, don't do it to him. I think he has a family.
No, he doesn't get. Oh, okay. That's how it ends, bro. That's how it ends. He was smooth. He was looking like a smooth criminal out there. The left, the right peaks. And that's what you guys know. When you guys do those left and right peaks, it changes the angles in which your opponent has to hit you. Because of the side in which his opponent was at, that's why he was going to the opposite sides of the cover. He didn't want to make it easy, even though he should have died in that situation. So Cellz, in a situation to where he had to get eliminated, to where he couldn't left stay alive and anybody else to rotate and keep going forward. So good job on Pels. And this is where I talk about the instants coming out and that torque boat play coming through. So now if this goes to a round number 9, one team will have the ability to upgrade or choose down the lock, while the other team will have just a lock going down with the instants already there.
Nobles are running a lot of down low strategies throughout this map, so they are definitely well prepared for this torque bow. Cellz get in a close position and get in there. Nice shot from Gearries, but he took some damage. Cellz trying to hold the sweet spot. It is a player in God spot. Scavzy on the flank. He is the focus. Now, Team Queso with a man advantage in a torque bow. Gearries springs into action, but can he get the back A? He has the support of Xysho over the top, his duo. That keeps him alive, but beautiful heads up play to get the torque bow out the picture. Neutral hills capped, Overlooks under their control, and the home hill is theirs as well. Noble is looking to take us to a round 9 if they can hold their positioning.
Yeah, that is a massive change in strategy coming out from Noble. Something I thought we were going to saw early on, but they took that 3-0 lead. And you kind of saw their switch up of strategy after they got a 3-0 lead. They no longer played the middle. They focused a lot towards that neutral in towards E. But now that that torque bow's there, they're going back towards that bread and butter. They're getting this early lead on initial. And just like you said it, I do think we're gearing up for a round number 9, barring any miracles coming out from Team Queso. Torque bow is out of play. Noble's set up. As long as they get the information and end this pre-fire down, they can easily go ahead and stop any push coming through, get these chunks, and keep the numbers onto their side.
You know, if I'm on the side of Queso, I'm playing for next Torque Bow. I'm playing for my opponent's home hill. I want to send Pale down low to put some pressure at D. And once you pick up that weapon, start trying to pick up your opponent off on a rotation as you get the 2-to-1 hill setup. But Scavzy says, Blaze, that's nice and all, but I could just go up here, pick up a double, and rotate out to help my teammates. He doesn't go down. New Torque Bow should be up soon, but Lava needs to try to stay alive. With this hill being captured, the win condition will not change, but a decap on a home hill, well, hell, that can do it.
Let's say Lava staying alive there is going to be so important. He goes down anyway towards the backside. They're going to clean him up. Scavzy goes down. Pell goes down as well. So Team Queso, they're not going to be able to end it here, but they're going to continue to have 2 hills in their hands for now. You see the overextension coming through from Xysho. He is going to be able to get the decap, but how much more is he going to be able to get after that? The players are spawning up. He's getting lancered over the top side. Everything is going to be coming down here shortly, but he bought his team some time on the neutral hill as well.
But even with the 3v2, you see the back A connects. Yachty, Scavzy gets the initial down. That slowed the push of Noble. And Queso wastes no time, but Gearries on the fling only got 1 Cellz with a nice 180. He gets the call out. We can see the teamwork here. We can see the comms in the score for Queso as the trip cap domination was coming through for just a second. This is big for Scavzy. He has 2 players in front of him. Noble ties it up off of 1. He's trying to rotate around, but with the bow, what can you do? Scavzy, can you be a hero? Does not connect on Gearries. His team is looking for the down, but he's going to protect E, and I love the rotation. But the kills do not come through. Beautiful work from Scavzy, but the decap at D wasn't there, folks. We're going to round number 9.
Yeah, it was definitely looking good towards the back end for Team Queso. But once again, Noble was able to hold on. And honestly, I think it comes from Lava there. He was able to stay alive. He bounced wide and even up-baited through a couple of players of Team Queso, but he didn't get eliminated, which kind of forced that player rotating over late from Team Queso to, instead of focusing on another player that was alive, he focused on Lava. And with that damage mitigation, it took him a little too long. He was unable to help his teammates. By the time he got there, they were all eliminated. He was forced to backtrack, which kind of was exactly what Noble needed. And when this round number 9, you already see what's going down. Upgrade onto the instance. No lock going down, which puts it on towards Team Queso. They're going to be able to lock down that shock and give themselves an advantage.
Yeah, and you talked about a PR. You talked about that lock here in the late game as the center line power weapon went there. What is Queso going to do with this shock grenade? Is it going to get immediately picked up? It will not. They will use it for a retake. Majority of the focus here on Torque Bow, and I agree with the play, but we see the spread pretty much man on man in every portion of the map, but who can play their fight the best? This is an individual battle, but a 2v2 engagement up top. Nice rotation. Mortifys goes down. Pale with the kill cleanup. Knows he has no one else in the area. Gearries, you need to make a play with the Torque Bow. The team needs you, but you're not getting out of here without a fight.
Trying to figure out what help he has. He does have some help over the top and in the god spot of Team Queso, so I don't think it's going to be easy for that elimination to come through.
You need to bank that off the left wall or something.
As well. He just needs to figure out a way to get some time, but Yachty, he somehow slips through. Torque Bow's down. Yachty's between a rock and a hard place here, figuring out a way to stay alive, but I talked about the angles that Noble possessed.
And I said earlier, I said, hey, it's about man-on-man battles and who has their guy. Yachty said, Gearries is my guy. And I'm not letting you get out for free. I will chase you down with this bow, make the play, and you'll see the setup here. Sail with a quick wraparound shot. Now he has cover. L3G in there, get some damage on Gearries. Help coming from E-Hill soon, but Cellz knows that his stay has been overstayed there on his opponent's side of the map. So he backs up, and now Team Queso 3v3 fight at E. The incendiary grenade was there, and the composure from Yachty is also here. So 2 kills coming through. We're here in the late game with 47 seconds on the map. The comeback looks like it's coming through. Noble cannot defend against this Pepperjack squad here of Team Queso. They're looking good. E-Hill, D-Hill locked in. Here is Noble's final push.
I was about to say they have one final push. They gearing up towards the bottom half of the map. You see the 3 players trying to push through. One goes down immediately. Gearries goes down as well. The revives are going to have to be chained. and you see this damage. And talk about pre-fire. This is a perfect example.
Oh my God.
That sky view, that view of the other player was perfect.
Oh my God.
You see, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. 3 players go down, and look at Xysho not even moving a muscle. He knows this one's over, and the comeback is complete. Team Queso is going to take map number 1, 5-4.
Man, if you go back and you look at that last play, if these guys didn't have clan tags, I would have thought the COG team was Noble. Folks, we're about to head into map number 2. It's going to be Harbor, and we will see if the actual Noble squad can get us all tied up 1-1. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Split 2, Day 6 of the Gears of War Pro League. We just locked in map number 1 between Noble and Team Queso. As you guys can see here on the highlight package, Noble, man, they started off hot, absolutely slaying Team Queso. Queso couldn't do anything about it. You see the team fire from Noble, but in this round, Team Queso says, not today. We are the better training grounds team. Took them a while to mesh, but in the end, we saw Team Queso come out on top, victorious, locking in training grounds. And on the flip end of this, we're about to head towards Harbor. Now, when it comes down to these two teams' play style, you got Noble, you got Queso. We just saw training grounds on map number 1 come through. Jacob, I gotta ask you, Harbor, is this gonna be a 2-0, or will Noble find a way to bring this one back?
I honestly think it has the potential, yes, to be a 2-0, of course. Team Cheese right now is just playing very lights out. You saw the comeback potential. Now we're going on to their map, and then it's kind of one of those fights here to where it's either on the stern, it's on the wind. Sometimes it's a 2v2 down low or in the middle with one guy up top. Sometimes it's 2 guys up top. I think Team Queso have the opportunity to kind of change it up round after round after round, but continue the same play style of aggressive all the way on these initials and really catch Noble off guard. I think the key for Noble right now is focus on one style of fight, whether you want it up top, whether you want it in middle, and put either a sniper or something worth fighting over. Even though you might not send all 4 members over there, that is going to be the main focus for both of these teams. Until that point in time comes, I think Team Queso is going to have the upper hand.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think Team Queso is going to have that upper hand. Now, Noble, they are a talented team that can throw out multiple different strategies at you and mix it up a bit. But let's not forget, it's not like we're about to play Foundation, Asylum, TG again. We're playing Harbor, okay? You need winch or stern. You got to get control of one, and you need to figure out which is better for you and your squad. Now, Team Queso at this point has more experience than this entire Noble roster as a unit together. So I'm looking at Mortifys this game. I want to see what type of plays he's going to be making here for Noble. But on the flip end, the players that surround him, Gearries, Xysho, Lava, the core of this Noble team, they know the strategies. They've been in this position before. They need to lead him. Morty is a fantastic soldier. Hell, he almost got his first chip the other year, okay, towards our first season. You got to put respect on his name, but we see the 3-1 initial here from both these squads. It's going to be Gearries versus Yachty at the top of the key. Hell supporting as well as Mortifys. And with the kills coming through, it is Noble who comes out to a hot start.
This fight right now going through from Morty's. And honestly, you got to think that's what's going through Noble's mind when you pick up somebody like Morty's. You know how aggressive he can be. He does that Slayer role back from Quarantine, back from Maze, or any roster he's on. He's looked at that player to be the first player in to get a bunch of kills. And you already see it paying off. He starts off on the winch, and he keeps it rolling to the home of Team Queso. Noble, once again, is going to strike first.
Noble did a fantastic job, and the key to their success in that round had to be the domination on the winch with that right hand. Gearries and Mortifys played it fantastically, and now they're going to be flipping sides. So this time around, they got to play off their left. But if they're going to be playing any style that we've seen, if we look at map number 1 on training grounds, their patterns, they may try to play for stern in this round. But on the flip end, Team Queso, how are you going to adjust? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Do you feel like they're going to go top stern? We'll see off this initial if they can set a trap.
they're either going to go top stern or they're gearing up for something to be top stern if their opponent does. Because I've been saying it ever since this map got reintroduced into escalation in this game. I don't like the Boltogs down low. I get their purpose, but you want to build up towards up top, so that way, whether you or your opponent want to do it, you're going to be +2 ahead or dead even.
You see this shots from Scavzy coming to the left with that Boltog. It kind of forced some players of Noble in cover as he was going tit for tat on his opponent. Now we see the response from Queso trying to have an equal, round number 2 to their opponent in round number 1. I don't know if the timing going to be the same, but damn, it's close. They're going to close it out, get us all tied up 1-1. They translate that win off the initial into a domination, letting their opponents know that, hey, we're here to play as well. So for both squads, seeing their initials on each side of the map, we'll see if we see adjustments in round 3.
Yeah, I don't think too many is going to come through. Like I was talking about last round, you put the retros down after the Boltogs. I don't think you go ahead and put the Talons topside because they don't really help that fight. But you keep it there because that way when you finally do want to switch up the fight, whether you're the team that puts it there instead of being down a weapon placement, you're kind of even. But in this case, you would be down a weapon placement. So then you're hoping that your opponent puts that weapon placement there because then in this case, you would have the shock ready while your opponent does not. So I like where both teams are kind of gearing up. They think it's going to be an even battle, but they're preparing for the worst.
Yeah, and we just see the strategy in split 2 of teams switching it up and building up top first rather than down low and focusing on that home hill player. I did thought Scavzy had that Boltog before, but he did not. Team kill comes through for Queso. Gearries takes Stern, knows that his teammates has some damage on Cellz, and they will clean up that kill as well. B hill, C hill locked in for Noble. Now they get to get the setup in which they want. Their opponent waiting for their players to come off respawn. We'll see how Team Queso plans on breaking Noble's setup.
You can already see the difference from this round to the previous 2. When both of these teams, Noble and Team Queso, won that initial on that winch, on that stern, they were able to wipe out 2-3 members almost instantly, simultaneously, so that they can push up as a team. This time, it was kind of one after the next. It was kind of staggered, so that way if they push forward, they were kind of risking too much. So Noble, they're planning to set up defensively. They want to rack up the scoreline and force Team Queso to push into them. They're ready to set up and they're ready to stop. They're confident in their defense here. And here it goes. The push coming through from Team Queso. Xysho's going to get the first down on 1. Trades coming through as Xysho and Cellz both fall, but Gearries pushing forward all by himself. A little ill-advised. Morty late to the show. He gets taken out as well. So Noble, like I said, gearing up for defense. It turns to bite him in the behind because now they get overtaken. But look at towards the bottom. Nobody rotating over to try to make that mismatch happen just yet.
Beautiful teamwork here from Queso off that initial. Cellz was the playmaker in there. By him picking up that kill, he allowed his teammates to trade out the remaining 2. The Wolfpack was strong there. Now with their stern setup in their home hill to their name, they don't have the win condition. So Team Queso knows at this point, they got a lot of time on the clock where they just need to kind of relax. It's a minute, but not too much. Just relax enough to get the conversation started because they need a pinch on this home hill. Xysho goes deep into spawn, but he gives up an important angle. Cellz, do you go for the kill? Do you take the angle and spawn? He tries to play for the double rather than the damage and not having faith in his teammates. They will get a decap on C, so that could be the win condition that they needed. They all fall, but B's gonna get decapped. A's gonna get decapped. Cellz, if he made the perfect play, was pulling out that Lancer and going to spawn, putting out damage, focus on the downs, but he was playing it just slightly too fast. And now here in the late game, they do get an opportunity at one more play, but Cellz, once again, slightly too fast.
I agree with you 100% there. Even if he runs back to the second half home hills, the play is kind of to sandwich these players out. Don't make it easy for them to push up, but as soon as he dies, you saw the rest of his team kind of push up. They risked their lives and they paid for it in the end. But you kind of saw the reasoning of why he pushed up in there, because I do believe that was lava spawning up just in the nick of time for Noble and to put that pressure on towards the backside. So he felt like he had to push up to try to reunite, regroup with his teammates. It might have worked, but no, it kind of played just to stay alive, waste that time. You saw how close it was in the end.
You know, they tried to do the E United special, as we're going to call it now, okay? But the thing is about that, everybody has to understand the perfect play and the timing. He needed a teammate a little bit closer to him. Okay, he needs to figure out who he was playing with, conversate with that guy, and sometimes it just needs to be instinctive. And wait to the final moment for you to get a foot on that hill. Great effort. Still just down 1 round, and you're gonna see Team Queso with the right hand advantage on Winch. The flashes come through, and Noble couldn't do much about it, but Xysho with a missed back roll. He's gonna have to think about that one for just a few seconds, and Lava trying to defend the home hill. Queso, they know this play all too well. They know what they need to do. The flash is beautiful. They call the connection. The home hill's decap soon. Lava goes down. Gearries goes down. Lava's revived. But it's not going to be enough because of the rotation from Scavzy applies the pressure that's needed to lock this round in. The final member goes down. Team Queso ties it up 2-2.
I can't say this was Scavzy Blade. I just think because of the angle in which that flash grenade came from, and there's two players already in the fight, I think Scavzy with a well-placed utility won the fight on the stern. You saw that player was so backed up to where a normal flash wouldn't have stunned him, which kind of won that fight from it, prolonged that player to be able to not get the shot off to get that kill blow. So Scavzy not only gets that bottom hill capture, not only gets that flash to disrupt the stern fight, but he got that Lancer fight, which put that final nail in the coffin. He was everywhere and affected every fight on that round.
And he's been doing it every round. The flash comes in late. The pistol fire is there. Whoever's in the 1v1 with him, I believe, is Lava. Lava has to figure out a way to get respect from him because Scavzy, even though he's not engaging in the 1v1 fight, he's winning the team fight for his squad. Beautiful down comes through. A smoke is there. Double kill, triple kill. They know the play, but Scavzy says, you know what? I'm trying to get jiggy with it too. Yo, Lava, you want to play me up or not? Waiting for help to come. Scavzy playing his position perfectly. Lava gave him a run for his money, but great attempt there. And here comes the pinch on top of the home hill to get their first lead of this map to control this series. Good job for Team Queso. Beautiful initials, back-to-back rounds.
Like I said, once you gain that momentum, you fight the fight you want. It's kind of hard. You talk about Lava. I like what he was trying to do. Instead of turtling back onto his home hill and allowing those enemy team to kind of suffocate him, he tried to press forward, but unfortunately that Lancer fire, when you win the big fight up top convincingly, you have two players rotating over as well. It kind of allows that Lancer fire, kind of makes it to where you have to throw out Hail Marys, hopes and prayers in order to win that exchange. But like I said, I like the thought coming through. But now, like you said, the first lead in this map, almost deja vu from map number 1, is, I'm about to say, are they going to have an answer back? Is Noble going to be able to answer back from this comeback?
Well, they're going to have to answer back sooner rather than later. Now, before they did have the lead and they was able to get themselves to a round number 9, but you don't want to have to play from behind. Pale saw something that he did not like. He disengages, but his teammate stays pressing. And I think Yachty said, nobody's here. He wins his 1v1, pushes towards his side of the map. He looks over and says, man, you guys got the 2v1. Let me flank up top with Cellz and let's take the fight top E. Can they make it happen and get the first down? But Lava's down low. He got 1 kill. Maybe Cellz should have helped him a little bit, but Phil cleans it up. Now he has one more 1v1 on a home hill, but is it a 1v1? You see the shots coming from screen right. This comes down to a little bit of confidence from Pale to get the home hill. He has help, but this is going to be a hard stance. 3v3 fight. Damage is there, and that will be the round. Series point here for Team Queso.
I like the switch up of the strategy coming out for Nova. I like where their thought was at, but once again, unable to execute. And that's what happens when you gain momentum, like Team Queso is, when your playstyle is based on aggression and you figure out a way to keep staggering those deaths. This will happen. And honestly, Lava did a good job of staying alive, able to get 1 elimination. But unfortunately for him, his teammates lost the fight again. And that's something we always highlight on a map like Harbor. It's kind of unfortunate for those players that are in that 1v1 scenario. Where if you lose that up top fight, it's kind of like, oh no, what do we do now?
And let's be honest, okay? The reason why it didn't work was because Yachty turned the hell up, okay? He took a 1v1 all on his own with straight confidence and put his team in that position. But we'll We'll see if he can close it out for him. You see the torque bow on the map. This time, Yachty is going to be first blood. 2 kills come through, but Pale and Scavzy are playing defense for the bow. They're looking for a 2v1 or at least a clean 2v2 fight. The best one is in front of them, and they win it. Revives comes through, and they can identify another 2v1 in front. They can identify the power weapon is there, so they're giving call-outs to their teammates that, hey, we got control of the round. Lava's scurrying, but do not lose composure. Both players go down. The power weapons in Team Queso's hand is coming down to a victory push, but with the retro in hand, Cellz gives them the final blow. Team Queso takes the series 2-0.
And I told you that potential was there, and this is what happens when you're in the rebuilding phases for Noble. But that's the silver line, man. Map number 1 was a close one. You got to go ahead and look back at that one and really strengthen those good things that you did. How fast you're aggressive, how great you were playing. But man, for Team Queso in this one, 2 comebacks after going down early. The confidence, the composure, the team cheese, man, that's what's good about them as well. I had pizza 2 times yesterday. They're always coming back for more.
Hey, Team Cheese, man, it ain't no craft, okay? They the real deal, folks, okay? Put some respect on Team Queso's name there towards the end. And hell, they played that series fantastically, being able to take it over in map number 2, taking it slow, making the adjustments. The individual plays from Team Queso, I was so pleased to see them because I think that's what they were missing. They were trying to get these perfect plays as a team early on and work as a unit, and as you should, because you think about the process of becoming a professional Gears of War esports team and how you learn strategies. Well, it starts off with the initial and getting those down pat, but from there, every individual player on your team needs to figure out how to get the most out that initial. When should their flashes be coming through, their smokes, when the shotty should be out, the pistols, the lancer. And I feel like everyone on Team Queso has grown individually. So when they come together, this is the product in which you get.
Yeah, and to me, I think the biggest thing that you said right there is growing individually. Map number 1, I think Pell was a massive difference maker. And it wasn't so much at the beginning of that one. It was realizing when something wasn't working and the adjustments weren't being made. When Noble was going up 3-0 on training grounds, Lava was lancering a lot over the top. Pell just wasn't as effective. But you saw that switch up come through. He began to put pressure on towards Lava, towards the back end. Yeah, it kind of worked out in the second half as well with the home help being there. But that forced Lava to worry about Pell and not be able to affect that fight over the top. Map number 2 on Harbor, Scavzy, even though he was playing down low in those 1v1 scenarios, time and time again on that initial, you saw him making those adjustments and figuring out a way to affect that up top fight in a successful way. You talk about growth as individuals, they're figuring together, putting it together as a full unit as well. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Team K, so I'm 2-0 in the last 2 predictions for them, and you guys are seeing why.
Hey, we're definitely seeing why. They have reached that point as a team where you have to fear them. But the question is, for a lot of people, is when they were going to get to that point. Because we've seen a lot of new teams enter the league over these last few seasons, and they're just all bust. You know, they may have a special week where they get a series or 2, but for the most part, they consistently hover in that bottom 10 to 12, 9 to 12 area. Team Queso, man, they're looking to change that. They says, you know what? We're not Dream Conspiracy. We're not going to be like them. We're going to come in here and progressively get better and better every single series and push it through. And that's not to even take a knock at Dream Conspiracy, but they are one of the newest teams in the league, and they have not gotten a win, and we've seen that before in the past. Hell, at some point, Queso, probably when they were under, maybe I think they were under the Oxygen banner, they were winless at one point as well, but so far, so good for them. They definitely are doing something that's finally working out for them. So that's definitely great.